Ken Trahan with Lenny Vangilder. It's our First NBC Bank weekend preview brought to you by First NBC Bank with 39 locations throughout southeast Louisiana and into the Florida Panhandle. That's First NBC Bank, proud sponsor of SportsNOLA.com. The high school football weekend underway Thursday night with some big games continues Friday night. It's Week 10, and of course we got a great matchup at SportsNOLA.com. A great rivalry game at Zephyr Field between Jesuit and Brother Martin, two storied schools. A great rivalry, great game last year. We expect another good one this year.
Yeah, if it's anything like last year, if it's half as good as last year, we're in for a treat because that was as good a game as we had in the regular season a year ago with those two teams, 49-46. Let's see how this one plays out. The good news is both teams come in playing very well. Jesuits won 2 in a row. Brother Martin's won 4 in a row. And you really, I think every coach would tell you, going into the playoffs, you want to be playing your best football. And one of these schools is going to go in on a significant winning streak into the playoffs.
Well, they certainly will. And you can watch it live at SportsNOLA.com Friday night at 7 p.m.
Or catch the rebroadcast if you missed that Saturday at noon on WHNO TV 20. Final regular season edition in football with the First NBC Bank Prep Showcase. So tune in.
That's called a tag team. Okay, volleyball. We had Dominican and Ponchatoula live for you on SportsNOLA.com on Wednesday, and we'll continue with our playoff coverage on SportsNOLA.com this weekend.
Right. Stay tuned. We'll have an update on exactly what's coming your way, but second-round matches being played on Saturday. The winners of those matches head to the Pontchartrain Center. All 40 winners will be playing there in the quarterfinals next Thursday, Friday, Saturday. A terrific event that we're fortunate enough to have here in the New Orleans area with a lot of great volleyball. And stay tuned. We'll have details on a second-round match coming up very soon.
And, of course, don't forget the original Friday night, 6 p.m. to 11 on WGSO 990 AM with coverage of games all over the state, previews, updates from games, winning coaches, analysis, and, of course, our school board at SportsNOLA.com that is tied into the show that everybody comes to on Friday night. That's at SportsNOLA.com via WGSO 990 AM. We look forward to that.
And one other thing we should mention as well, since we're talking about high school football, cap the weekend. We'll have full analysis of the brackets on Sunday after they are announced. Obviously, the weekend ends, and then it's on to the postseason. The brackets coming out Sunday, late morning. And, again, we'll have that full analysis right here on Sunday. Check it out at Sports NOLA.
It's a big weekend of college football. First, Tulane, of course, travels to make up the game against Central Florida in Orlando off of a very tough loss to SMU. This was the game that was postponed earlier. Might this be the chance for Tulane to end this losing streak?
Could be. Look, they've got to bounce back. Interesting in their schedule. Houston was at least supposed to be on paper the best team in their league, and ideally, you'd like to face teams coming off a tough game. Well, this is actually the third week in a row Tulane's facing an opponent that's just played Houston, Tulsa, SMU, and now UCF, and it hasn't worked so well the first 2 weeks, but you would think that would be something that helps them. Now, of course, next week, Tulane's got to go to Houston, so it doesn't get any easier. 3 of their 4 games in November on the road, so we'll see how that all plays out for the Green Wave. As they look, it's going to be tough for them to win 3 out of 4 down the stretch to get to 6-6 and be bowl eligible, but until you're mathematically eliminated, as they say, you keep trying for it.
And then, of course, the big one that everyone's anticipating nationally, LSU at home against Alabama Saturday night, tied a touchdown favorite in the game. There's some people that feel pretty good about LSU in this game. You believe it when you see it, but certainly you like the trend.
Sure. I mean, you like what LSU has done since Ed Orgeron has taken over. It's going to be interesting to see, just how he plays this, especially from an offensive perspective. I like the fact, and I guess he's apparently done it before, but you're hearing about it this week, that he's using Lindsey Scott as the scout team quarterback to kind of emulate what it is that Hurts is going to do with the Alabama offense. It's very important. When you play a guy like that, you got to be able to, as Coach O has elaborated on, stay in your lanes when you're rushing the passer and, not let him, with his legs, make big plays. And that's really not been a part of the Alabama offense before. That is the big difference in this team, and maybe the reason why this might be Nick Saban's best team, because they've got all of those pieces that they've had before. Now they've got a quarterback that's a dual threat that really makes them even tougher to defend.
Big weekend for the Saints. They're on the West Coast at San Francisco to play the 49ers. Not necessarily in San Francisco, but you get the gist of it. Big game because a chance to get to 500 and legitimately stamp themselves as a team that's in contention in their division, if not for the playoffs.
Exactly. This is it's a wide open division race, as we talked about the other day. Even with Atlanta coming back in the final minute to beat Green Bay, you've got to feel like what you're seeing right now, the four teams in the NFC South, the Saints are every bit as good as anyone else based on the more recent body of work. Certainly, the first 3 games didn't show that, but the last 4 games have. And if you can get to the halfway mark at 500, you're right there in the mix. Look, you got to win. The Saints are a road favorite for a reason because San Francisco is not very good, arguably the worst team in the NFC. But you've still got to win the games that you're supposed to win. This has been, over the years, a problem for Sean Payton's teams. There's been times where you think they're supposed to win, they're heavy favorites, and they go out and lay an egg. You remember that Rams game at home a few years ago. There's a couple of other examples in there, but you got to do what you've got to do. They're not a prohibitive favorite, just 2 3-point favorite, but still, you need to go win this game.
No doubt. And then there's the Pelicans.
There's the Pelicans. Who would have thought that we'd be sitting here after the Saints started 0-3 on November the 3rd, and the Pelicans would already have more losses than the Saints. Go figure. This is look, we've seen it from both extremes. We've seen a team that could score and can't play defense. Wednesday night, we saw a team that could play defense, it couldn't score. So it's just got to find a way to win. The next chance comes Friday night at home against Phoenix, and then it doesn't get any easier because then you head to the West Coast. Monday night, they've got a return visit to Oakland to go face the Warriors. So it does not get any easier after this. You got to find a way probably to get this on Friday night, or you may come home 0-8, 0-9 after that.
Ouch. Thanks, Lenny. Have a good weekend.
We'll see you Monday.
That's our First NBC Bank Weekend Preview, brought to you by First NBC Bank with 39 locations throughout the New Orleans area and beyond. That's First NBC Bank, proud sponsor of SportsNOLA.com. He's Lenny. I'm Kenny. Have a great weekend, and God bless you.